Welcome. You're listening to the Keeping Ashland Healthy podcast, a podcast production of the Mental Health and Recovery Board of Ashland County, Ohio. Thanks for joining us. And welcome back to another episode of Keeping Ashland Healthy. This is a podcast about mental health, substance use, issues here in Ashland County and beyond. My name is David Ross. I'm with the Mental Health and Recovery Board here in Ashland County. I'm the executive director. I am going to be talking to you about May is Mental Health Month. What on earth does that mean? The board always has its own take on some of these national initiatives. May as Mental Health Month is one of those large initiatives. So you are likely to hear and read various pieces about it throughout this month. Hopefully, though, you'll see on our website and our social media some Ashland-specific information that we think might be of use to you. So May is Mental Health Month. What is it all about? Well, I won't bore you with all the details of why it started, but the core is we want all of us to have a better understanding and appreciation of good mental health, good emotional and mental health. We've recognized now for several years that you can't have good physical health without good mental health, and vice versa. It's really hard to have good mental and emotional health without good physical health. So we're just trying to normalize our concern with what's going on inside when it comes to our mental, emotional health in the same way we always focus on physical health. So the month was really designed to do a lot of awareness raising and education. So that is a very important function of the Mental Health and Recovery Board. We do a lot of that awareness raising and education. So we thought we would take advantage of the month to promote some things that we think are very important, certainly to the board and to our community. So the theme this year, more good days together. More good days together. So there's a lot in there. And the question that I think everybody's asking for this year, the theme, what if mental health isn't primarily about a diagnosis, but about how people actually live their lives? So think about that. We're not talking about diagnosis or label, but about how people actually live their lives. And what I mean by that is you'll see and read statistics like 1 in 5 people have some kind of mental health condition. And that may be, and this episode isn't about why that might be, but I can tell you 5 out of 5 people are managing life right now. Okay, so I would much rather focus on all of us and the way we negotiate life and the challenges that come with living rather than a particular subset or a label. So, here at the board, we focus not on mental illness and that term, but we focus on living life. The stresses that come as we live in this life, whether that's through relationships or just trying to find meaning. It's important that you understand that people, you, me, people are not problems to be solved. All right. These are all of us are living in this world in a way, trying to do our best to make sense of ourselves in that world and the world itself. So, what is a good day? The title said more good days together, that theme. Well, guess what? Good is personal. I don't want you to think of it in terms of a clinical term. It's a personal term. It doesn't mean always happy or always productive. It could mean a good day for you might be a day where you're more calm, less anxious, that you feel like it's more manageable, that you're able to get through that day. So ask yourself, audience, what does a good day look like for you? And I would very much encourage you to define that, what a good day is, rather than somebody else telling you what it is, okay? And try to be realistic about what a good day is. So we're trying to have more of these good days. I mentioned earlier, you can't separate mental and physical health. Sleep, stress, relationships, movement, nutrition, all these things go together in our mental and emotional health. So that's why the board has been emphasizing walking and eating, and not only eating good, healthy foods, but eating together. Now, I know if you're like my family, you're probably thinking back to last Thanksgiving and who got the drumstick. who threw the mashed potatoes at whom. But it is important to try. You're going to eat anyhow. Maybe eat a meal with somebody that you reasonably get along with. The discussion, the laughter, hopefully, the conversation, the connection that takes place over a meal is really, really important. In fact, we've got records going back thousands of years about the importance of eating together socially. Also, think about spending some time outside. We talk about touching grass. I love that Ashland County has one of the most robust park systems for a county our size. And the city also has its fair share of parks at Brookside and other places. Reduce isolation. We've talked about this again and again here at Mental Health and Recovery Board. Living in isolation, not having the kind of contacts with others is not a good recipe for having a good day. So try to reduce isolation, increase connection. The power of connection, isolation increases distress. Connection decreases. It's that simple. Isolation tends to increase distress, connection the other way. So now, David, okay, how do I start some of these connections? Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe it's a check-in with a neighbor or a friend or a family member that you haven't checked in with for a while. Maybe it's being seen. So maybe you stopped going to a particular place. Maybe it was a store, or you're working out, or it's a church. Whatever it is, be seen. Maybe be seen in places where you used to go, so other people might say something like, "Hey, where you been?" Start a conversation, right? I would say Ashland County, my experience here, and it's going on 23 years, is that Ashland tends to show up for each other. I think about some of the parades and the other events that we have. Our mayor and commissioners do a good job with promoting in Main Street, Ashland, all the different parades and events. And I am amazed how that's grown over the years. People are showing up for each other. They're having a good time together, whatever the event may be, from the car shows to the parades around the holidays. I think that is wonderful that we are being intentional about planning community-wide events where we show up for each other and we stay connected. The other thing, I don't want to put pressure during this month. Progress is often built on ordinary moments, and what we mean by that is incremental change, small changes over time. That matters. Small wins matter. So what do I mean by that? Even if your goal is to drink more water, okay, half a glass, 1 glass per day to start with. That's an improvement. That's progress. Going for a walk. If you want to get to that 5K, well, you don't start by doing a 5K walk by going 5K. You start by something less. So that's okay. Going for a walk at all, talking to someone, not having some in-depth conversation, that's fine. So incremental change, small changes. Don't look for transformation overnight. I think oftentimes we put pressure on ourselves, and there's some studies around how folks set the New Year's resolutions on January 1st, and so many folks let those lapse, partly because they don't see the changes they're looking for, but those changes they're looking for, they're unrealistic about how quickly they think they should happen. Steady improvement, audience, steady improvement is fine. Another point, mental health is personal. What works for one person may not work for another. Please keep that in mind. Talk to others about what's worked for them, but understand that for you, it might look a little bit differently, and that's just fine. Explore what helps you. But sometimes we can learn from our friends and family about what worked for them. Maybe we modify it, but it gives us some ideas. Maybe I never even thought about that. Okay. But at the board, as you know, we caution against over-standardization or over-reliance on labels, because labels have a way of grouping people together when they should be separated by their individual differences. So you are an individual. You are not a label. So we try very hard not to overly standardize things that ought not be standardized. Well, Mental Health Month should lead to some real change. So that is maybe the overarching goal of the month, besides education and awareness, is to really set some goals that are realistic that you feel like you can achieve, whether that's going to events, connecting more, engaging more, taking care of your body more, whether that's movement or exercise or what you're eating, getting involved with your church, school, etc. So more good days are possible. And we want you to define what a good day is for you. Maybe reach out to at least one person on the connection front to help you do that throughout the month of May on the board's website as well as our social media. We have a series of fun posts. I thought I would run through some of those. I know you are all busy people, audience, but I'd like to run through some of the posts that will be out there, and hopefully you'll see why they're helpful. Get your daily dose: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. Get your daily dose. So we posted that just to let you know that these chemicals do matter. They are floating around in our system, in our brains. They all do things, and we give you some of the practical things like creating something, achieving a task, and how that increases dopamine, how socializing and hugging someone, helping others, how that increases your oxytocin, or getting out in the sunlight or trying mindfulness activities or meditation, how that helps with serotonin, which helps moods. And then exercising, listening to music, watching a movie, having a laugh, how that increases endorphins, that helps with pain. So again, very practical slide. Another one that Elise here at the office came up with that I really like is promote a healthier mindset. How might you go about promoting a healthier mindset? Well, maybe focus more on the things in your life that you're in control of rather than what you're not in control of, all right? Promote a healthier mindset by focusing on what is in my control rather than what's not in my control. I'll give you an example. I don't want to ruin it for you, but I'll give you some examples. Things that are in your control are things like your actions, the things you say to others, how you spend your free time, what you eat, what boundaries you set. On the flip side, what's not in your control, as I sit here on a rainy day? The weather, okay? Other things that aren't in your control: aging, illness, the future, world events, what people think of you, all right? Other people. So if we spend too much time on the things that aren't in our control, we are going to find that our mindset is not as healthier, okay? So make your health a priority this month too. And we list several things like drinking water, journaling, breathing, eating healthy, being kind to yourself, talking with families and friends, etc. And speaking of being kind, we have a whole slide on being kind, why being kind as a daily habit can improve your life and the world around you. And again, that's important. Being kind to yourself and others, it's a twofer. It helps you and it helps others. Kindness boosts well-being. It reduces stress, improves physical and mental health. It strengthens relationships. It also contributes to longevity, creates a positive social ripple effect. I love that. And it definitely changes culture in a workplace. Another one, I think maybe the last one I have that I wanted to share with you, has to do with pets. For many of us, our pets are like family, if not family. So spend that time with your pets. We know darn well the love that they feel from you and that you feel from them is helpful. It helps build human resilience. It helps with your emotional support, reducing stress. It also helps with routines because guess what? We should be walking our dogs, doing things with our cats and other pets that we have on a regular basis. And just those routines, you getting in a routine, staying in a routine is helpful in and of itself. So spend time with your pets. You probably already do that, but maybe be more intentional. Maybe push the walk a little bit. Maybe walk a little bit further with the pet. Even if they complain, you guys can complain together. Well, throughout the month, I am wishing you all the best success during this May as Mental Health Month. If, however, during the month, you or someone else that you know might be struggling, don't forget about our 24/7 local helpline, 419-289-6111. Again, all this information will be in the episode description, but we recognize for some folks, they're really struggling. They need somebody to talk to, or you've got a family member or friend that, you've tried everything to do, but you're really worried. Call our helpline, talk to the folks there. These are local people. They are counselors and social workers who can help guide you to next steps. I don't want you to be afraid to call that number. A lot of folks, the majority of those calls, it's just information. It's referral information. It's tips or things you might want to try. But every once in a while, yes, it might be trying to get the person to our local ER at UH Samaritan most often to be assessed. Sometimes that's what it calls for, but not always. Remember during this month that we're building something together, one good day at a time here in Ashland County. Thank you again for listening. May is Mental Health Month, and I like the tagline, more good days together. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Keeping Ashland Healthy podcast. The podcast is a production of the Mental Health and Recovery Board of Ashland County, Ohio. You can reach the board by calling 419-281-3139. Please remember that the board funds a local 24/7 crisis line through Appleseed Community Mental Health Center and can be reached by calling 419-289-6111. That's 419-289-6111. Until next time, please join us in Keeping Ashland Healthy.